All right, here we go, gang. Back again to talk a little bit about closing mastery. So when you're talking to someone who you're prospecting on the phone, in person, at an open house, you're presenting to someone, you're dealing with clients, and you're getting some resistance, you're getting some pushback, and you're getting objections. You're just not on the same page. There's a lack of understanding. I mean, we're just not connecting here. A lack of progress when I'm having a conversation, when I'm dealing with a client. I'm just not bringing it together, or we're not on the same page, right? So I'm talking about being able to deal with resistance and getting clarity versus constantly trying to close, right? Clarity versus closing. Clarity versus closing. Are you trying to get clarity, or are you just trying to close them? Thank you, Jeffrey Slanker at Power Hour. He summed that up on a previous video I did on process versus person. Are you just processing conversation, or do you really care about people and understanding them? So clarity versus closing. Are you trying to understand and get clarity, or are you just closing on people and hammering them to the close? So closing is about getting out of your own head. Now, who is this about? Is this about you, or is this about them? Are you got a bunch of I, me statements on what you think and what you feel? Or are you asking them questions on what they think and what they feel to better understand them, to better help them understand themselves or the bigger picture? Because you said you wanted to help people. You got in the business and you said, I want to help people. And so to help them, I have to understand them. And to understand them, the only way to do that is to ask better questions on what's really going on in here. What's really going on in here? So maybe the conversation's too processed, and I'm in my own head, and I need to get out of my head for what's going on and start really caring about what they think and about what they feel, so that I can start melting that resistance and start better understanding to come together, so I can have better clarity, so that I'm focused on the person. And when that happens, that energy is real, right? They'll feel that for you to be able to understand them and move forward and work through this resistance, these objections, these roadblocks that are in the way, because I'm focused on clarity to connect, right? Bold law, logic makes them think. That's right, you K-Dub people. Emotions make them act. Thank you, Diana Kokoska, for that bold law. You don't know what that's about, hit me up. I'll show you where that's at, somewhere near you, regardless of where you are in the country. Now, my job is to ask great questions. Ask them well. Listen carefully. 3 things. Ask great questions. Lots of questions in those scripts. Ask them well. Act like you care. If you don't, pretend. At least ask those questions well, with sincerity and with intense curiosity, because you really want to know, to find out what's here or what's here. Right? And then last but not least, listen carefully. Listen carefully. That next best question may not be the next question on the script. That next best question may be that little inch they gave you on what's going on with their situation, what's going on with their motivation. But are you really listening, or are you just processing? Are you just closing? We said clarity versus closing, right? Stop closing. Last video I did, I said stop asking for referrals. This is crazy talk, right? Who talks like this? Stop closing and start getting more clarity, because when you have extracted enough information on situation and motivation, closing's the easy part. That's the easy part for you to be able to close on somebody, when you have cared and had enough good conversation. Stop closing, get more clarity. Stop closing, have better conversations. And your ability to repeat and approve through that objections, through those resistances, for you to just continue having good conversation. Ask great questions. Ask them well. Listen carefully. Rinse, repeat. Okay, final thought. They don't hear what you say. They hear how you feel. You feel like you're closing them. You feel uncomfortable. You feel like you're trying to go Wolf of Wall Street on them. Look, they feel that. Right? Energy's real. Energy's contagious. So make sure that you are in the right place, coming from your own contribution, from your own center, to be able to understand and to listen and to get alignment with where they're at, so that you can move forward, versus just listening to respond and throw another objection handler at them. They feel that. They feel when you're just objection handling and selling and closing, versus really trying to understand, really trying to get clarity. Closing will come very, very easily when you do that first. Put them first. Put the process first. Put customer service first. Put serving first. Be intensely curious. Clarity versus closing. Go get them.